Testament's 5p is mainly used as a quick anti-air. It can stuff IEDs easily and lead to some quick combos. Their 5k reaches further than their 2k and practically always combos into 2D as long as you have dash momentum. Their 2k is extremely strong as it reaches far and low profiles. It allows you to go under fireballs if you time it right, but it can be a bit tricky. But it also lets you go under far pokes that are typically 6p'able. Far Slash is Testament's best button. It has a lot of disjoint, very far range, and fairly quick recovery. 2S is Testament's main low poke, although typically 2k is used to get knockdowns. 5H has more disjoint, but smaller range than Far Slash, making it not combo at far ranges. 2H is very slow, but has a large range with a ton of disjoint and very low recovery. This is also one of Testament's launchers that pulls them in for conversions including 2k or 236H, and this is their best counter hit starter. Between Far Slash and 2H, Testament is able to throw out many disjointed hitboxes to cover approaches very well while having little recovery. 6H is very large but very slow with a lot of recovery. It can catch both grounded and airborne opponents, but can be stuffed out of startup and has no disjoint. Testament's 6p is the best 6p in the game in my opinion. It is obviously a great anti-air, but it has incredible horizontal and vertical reach to the point where it will beat out Ram's Far Slash even when it wouldn't reach you. And it may have slightly slower startup than normal, but has significantly faster recovery than most. JP is your go-to for close range rising air-to-airs, but it can be difficult to combo into, so keeping things simple, you can do JS into J236H. JK is pretty much a dedicated cross-up button, but also can't really be used by itself. Since you connect so high up, you aren't plus enough to combo it unless you delay it intentionally. You'll mostly use this when you have RC or have them in a stay in state. JS is very good air-to-air. Its disjoint makes it good for contesting other air buttons similar to Milia's JS. JD is a good defensive air normal that pushes you back and halts your air momentum. It's best to use this from a neutral jump or jump back. JH is your go-to jump in button, either from just jumping around or IEDs. The low hitbox makes it hard to 6p, so they will need to be preemptive or ready for it to consistently 6p it. Each of Testament's fireballs have 3 different levels of charge. No charge, which is the fastest, middle charge, which has a lingering moving hitbox but doesn't quite go full screen, and full charge, which goes full screen and lingers the longest. This goes for air versions as well, each is useful in their own situations. As soon as you recover from throwing a fireball, you can do another one. However, this will immediately get rid of the one that is currently on screen. This works for any version of the fireball, including the charged ones. Grounded 236S is great for controlling the ground space, especially when charged. Grounded 236H is good for calling out jumps and air approaches. ID back J236H is very strong at stuffing opponents running forward and can even cover airborne opponents a bit. The only weakness is run up 6p. IED back J236S is also very strong, and depending on the height you release it, it can cover the air or ground better. When you fully charge it, you can run behind it to get in rather safely. However, you will be exposed to lows, so you can mix up your approaches with IEDs, which is especially good at catching people up backing. The Crow is a main staple of your game plan since it applies stay in state. If you have not thrown a fireball, it will default to going straight across the screen above your head, which is good for anti-air. When it returns, if you send it again before it goes above your head, it will go low like a normal fireball, which is typically a much stronger position. When you use a fireball, it will leave a succubus on screen and will automatically go towards it from now on. However, if you hold P, it will go straight like you don't have a succubus on screen. This is where the mind games begin. After throwing a fireball, people will typically just send a crow to the fireball to get stay in state on them, which is effective. However, the simple counterplay is to just jump away. If you notice they take to the air after the fireball is thrown, you can send it straight instead to catch them. It is a very low risk option and it forces them to think more about how they move. Once stay in state is on them, you can play more aggressively since all of your normals will cause a delayed explosion that makes you plus on block and lead to combos on hit. Also, getting a Far Slash to connect will let you go into Arbiter high or low for a true string mix-up, though it is reactable. Just don't do this up close or it'll miss. Doing run up 6p when they have stay in state I have found to be extremely effective since it will beat out many characters' main pokes and either force them to block in the air or lead to a full combo. Far Slash doesn't always combo to 5H and at max range it doesn't combo into Fireball, but with stay in state you always get a combo or block string, making stay in state your main goal in neutral. The succubus can also be used for teleporting. A major use for this is escaping the corner. After blocking, do Far Slash into Fireball, then teleport out. Don't be too predictable with it, but making them look for it can let you get out in other ways. It can also be used to escape characters approaching you as long as you don't autopilot into sending the bird first, getting rid of the succubus. If they're standing right next to it and you don't think they're ready, teleport into throw can be a strong option. But there's a good amount of startups, so make sure that you have the distance to do it safely. If you hold K, you will teleport in place, letting you avoid fireballs or bait out options from jump-ins, or just trick them into thinking that you're actually teleporting. Since /5H doesn't combo most of the time you'll use it, make sure to special cancel. Each one can be used in different situations, so make sure to practice using them all. Arbiter can be a good tool neutral if you have them scared to move, but if they're running around, they can avoid it easily. It's best to use this against players who dash block to approach, since they'll either get hit for crouching or hit low out of their dash. The charged fireball will go full screen if left alone. However, using Crow, Teleport, or another fireball will cut it short, so decide when you want to get rid of the fireball based on how they move. The fireball has low recovery, and since it covers the ground, they're forced to approach from the air, but Testament 6P is extremely good at stopping air approaches. On counter hit, you can combo into Crow and get a spaced meaty 5k into a double overhead versus single overhead low, and if they get hit, it's a combo starter thanks to Stain State. 6H can be used to cover the air and ground and leads to a combo on counter hit. You can call out air approaches with 2-6H and get a combo that way even without counter hit. However, it is not super consistent when they are close, so it works best if it's preemptive. 5P is also a strong option that can lead to really good reward. A good way to retreat if they've already gotten in a bit is to do IED back J23-6S or H. Even if you cancel into the Crow, you will likely recover in time to 6P. Also, if you approach, 5k can be a decent anti-air to hit them from behind. Like I said before, Arbiter is good against dash blockers. Crow is also strong since it will leave you plus and push them back a little, then you can approach with 6p, 5k, far slash, or anything else you choose. You can do far slash into charged fireball once they're in Stain State to maintain more plus frames and setups. To stay extra safe, 2H is a good keep away tool. Make sure to mix up between fireballs, crows, retreating options, and teleports to keep your opponents on their toes. Also, if they get comfortable blocking and are stained, this is a good time to use the cross up. That's all for now. Thank you for watching.